What's up, everyone? You are tuned in to the channel Eeps episode 141. I'm your host, EEPMON, because there is none other. As you can see, I am back in the EEPMON HQ here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. After just over 1 month stay in Japan, specifically Tokyo and Osaka. I am still a little jet lagged, so bear with me. But I thought I would do an overall recap of my experience. And having been to Japan many times, but this time I stayed a little longer. And I will tell you why that is. And it's all about planning and strategy, and also some R&R. So on that note, little 5 things I like to talk about. I have some of my notes here. Number 1, I'll touch upon cultural diplomacy and creative exploration. 2, the epiphany at the onsen. So for those who don't know what an onsen is a Japanese hot bath, public hot bath. Of course, it's split between men and women. But I find that I get my inspirations and brainstorming when I'm just sort of like, zenning out. So anyway, I'll talk about a bit about that. 3, B2B businesses engagements, very important. 4, participating in a half marathon and the mental discipline that I experienced when I was there in Japan. And finally, 5, artisan influence and solo show proposal opportunities. So let's start with number 1. And please like and subscribe if you like what I have to say, and do share to your fellow friends. Much appreciated. So last year, October 2024, what are we talking about? October 2023. You see, I'm still kind of jet lagged. I was on the Team Canada trade mission to Japan, which is fantastic because it allowed us creative industry folks to engage with the Japanese counterparts. The Canadian Embassy and the whole Team Canada trade mission provided I like to think, a pretty good solid foundation to jump off with. These B2B meetings from last year was almost like speed dating. It was like profile matching with the other Japanese counterpart profile. And if there's a match, then a meeting will be set up. Each session was about 30 minutes each. And of course, you have to prepare a presentation and you get your business cards ready, all that kind of thing. So I do understand. And for those who also want to pursue this creative entrepreneur path, is that you have to come back. You have to return. You have to follow up. Follow up even if you don't feel like it. Follow up even if they don't feel like it. At the end of the day, putting a face behind the creativity speaks volumes. It is multi-dimensional, builds rapport, builds relationship, and which is why, of course, as I mentioned this year, increasingly I'm engaged in more cultural diplomacy endeavors. So, of course, having an existing relationship with the Embassy of Canada in Japan, well, they're in Tokyo, I felt that it was, I think, part of my personal mission, my professional mission, was to continue building and fostering goodwill and closer ties with, the embassy. Why not? You were there representing Canada last year. I feel that it would be unfortunate if um, there was no follow up or there was no continuation in um, making these connectivities or these connections, these network opportunities. It's very important. I think like it's very, very important. I think far too often, and especially this day and age, we are very anxious and we really want to, get opportunities. We want to get those projects. We really want to, secure those opportunities, financial means, whatever, right? But that is not without doing your homework, doing your due diligence, and building slowly. I know we all want to go fast, folks. Sometimes it goes fast, fine. But really to simmer, really build your network. And this is exactly what I said to do in this whole entire trip. So when I went there, I have no expectations, if they could connect me with XYZ brands and companies, that would be fantastic. Even if they tried and it didn't work out, that's fine too. Okay. My MO, my mission, as I mentioned, was to put a face-to-face to the key people that I needed to meet. There are certain objectives that I want to accomplish down the road. Well, basically next year coming up, 2025 and beyond. But in order to start to plan my next actions, I need to know who is who behind certain departments at the embassy. And I am very happy to say that I have fulfilled that mission to discuss anywhere between shaping the future collaborations and, of course, promoting Canadian creative industries in Japan and perhaps Asia at large. I see for me Japan as a home away from home, like kind of like a base for me, like a gateway to Asia at large. So to foster those connections is very, very important. So number 2, I thought this was a fun one, and I know I might have touched upon it in my previous episodes, but I think this is very important. When I knew that if I were to travel, get away from the existing environment that I was in, that us artists, us creators, right? I think you guys would resonate with me with this, is that even if we're traveling, like not many people, like traditional corporations and industry probably won't understand where I'm coming from. But if they do, that's amazing because you're far and few. But understand that when I am traveling, it's not about vacation. That is not my priority. It never is, never was. I think for me, I honestly think vacation is a waste of money. If there is an angle for work related, if my priority is always business, and part of the business is also the perceived vacation, but it's really my R&R, my relaxation, my way to engage with an external new environment that I wouldn't have access otherwise, that will help and inspire and inform my creative outlet, my creative spirit. You know what I'm saying? Even I'm walking in the department store, even when I'm walking through the streets of Shibuya on a day where I don't have to do any work, right? or no meetings. That is already still work. Really, it's still work because I'm absorbing the external environment, getting influenced by the external environment, whether I'm meeting people, seeing friends, having coffee, getting inspired, walking into a fantastic, amazing, well-designed retail store or hotel or a product or an exhibition. They all play a role in shaping my and expanding my creative outlet, right? I so again I digress a bit. So the for example, the epiphany of the onsen. Okay, so there's some hotels I go to, and they have something called a public onsen, right? Again, I mentioned it's split between men and women. We don't mix, of course. Um, but I just like to go there, and after a long day, I soak into this hot water. It's like 40 degrees Celsius. It's so comfortable. Okay, you got to picture it. It's like this environment where it's all like granite, like stone. Okay, and then just typical Japanese bath. Pour water on you. You put the towel on your head. You soak in there. It's absolutely like no, and everyone's respectful. Everyone's quiet and just like really meditating. And then I had this epiphany. I always have this epiphany, and I'm like, it's about waves. You got to make waves. And I see the waves of the water overflowing and then just kind of like overlapping each other, right? Wave over wave over wave over wave. And when these waves, sometimes the waves nullify each other. They cancel each other out. Sometimes these waves are going in the same direction, and when they overlap each other, they propel each other. They move forward together, even more stronger. Sometimes one opposing wave overpowers another wave, and then the overpowering one just overtakes it based on the difference of its velocity, right? And I think that's kind of like life. That's what life is. Like, we may not perceive around us that there are waves everywhere, but I think we're generating waves all the time, right? And whether it's airflow, whether you're interacting with another person, whether you're going outside, walking down the street, you're generating waves all the time, okay? And you are influencing your external environment all the time. So when I walk outside, for example, I walk outside, I get a coffee at a coffee shop, there are other people out there. My presence in being at that spot already creates an influence in that environment. Everyone is influencing each other, right? Why is it when you go to a very nice coffee shop and everyone seems to have this sort of persona, right? And it's almost like everyone is reverberating with each other. It's sort of like, we're creating this environment, this energy that's being generated because we all have this similar flow of how we want to emanate ourselves when we are placed in a particular environment, right? So the onsen, so that's why I felt that the onsen it was this aha moment. I was like, wow, I'm traveling. I always travel, and I'm like, it's not because I have to, because I want to. It's who I am. But I reflect. I do a lot of reflection. I think about my past engagements, the people I've met along the way, places I've traveled, knowing Japan. I'm so familiar with Japan. How did I become so familiar with Japan? How grateful I am to be in Japan more than like a handful of times. Probably my 30th trip. Whereas, maybe people have never left the country. People have only been to Japan once. Like, these sort of like thought process come to my mind, and that's already sort of like, a way of like generating waves of reflection, right? So there's external waves, but there's also internal waves, okay? And that also influences, how I think about things, my outlook in life. It's mindfulness. That's what it is. You're generating your internal waves to really look at your life, one's life, um, as a, just looking at the trajectory, right? Now back to the whole waves thing is that, yeah, I'm grateful, but also, like, I travel, I meet people, and I've met so many people in this world, different industries, different personalities, and it's because I'm generating waves. It's because I am physically present, meeting, talking, throwing my energy waves to people that I'm engaged with. Now, as I mentioned, sometimes w- different people have different types of waves. Sometimes my waves will not click with another person's wave, right? Maybe it nullifies. Maybe one wave is too powerful in a way that and there's also positive and negative waves too. Waves, when I mean by positive negative waves, is like, I don't mean it in anything like good or bad, because I also see that good and bad are the same. But it's like when you encounter a wave that you just feel that it's just not right, you know, even if you're going in a direction forward, you both have an outward wave that goes forward, but then, you know, even though you're in the same trajectory, same momentum, you would think that, oh well, those overlapping waves would even create something strong, but no. I mean, like, again, waves are different. Some of them may work for you, some of them deviate, and maybe the wave is not in the same path as you're going, and that's how I feel. That's exactly how, like, it's hard. I mean, that's how I visualize things in a way in my mind. Is like the energy, is the aura that I feel from people is exactly what I mean by waves, right? Um, so that was my little, like, that was my epiphany, and I think it's very important that we see the world, we engage the world not through just, our primary senses, is like through our eyes or ears or even smell, or touch or whatever, but you have to really, you know the sixth sense, you really have to really understand and and feel the room, basically, intuition. So, yeah, my little spiel about waves. I think I went overtime on that one. So number 3, my B2B engagements. Okay, they were great, and a lot of follow up meetings. One person in particular took me to several awesome Japanese restaurants. Oh my goodness, I had this omakase experience, and he was happy to introduce me to fine dining sushi cuisine, of course. I've been to several omakase, but the way that the sushi chef were, the preparation of their dishes, like, it's culinary art. It was artistic. It was inspirational, and I'm so grateful that he took me there with his fellow friends. I don't want to name names. I just want to make sure. I just want to just be very, very general with this. But I did B2Bs, building relationships, meeting so many new people, you know. And these are the steps, folks, that can lead to something potentially, like I say, potentially, because nothing is for certain, but you got to keep on going back if you are compelled to do so. And I know it's easy to say, "Oh man, like, I gotta go back. I gotta go back again." Is it like, why are these projects not happening? I mean, this is my third or fourth time going back, and nothing's happening. And this is the test, folks. This is the test of your resolve. Okay, are you going there purely because you want to secure a profitable project? Or are you there genuinely, you're genuine. You want to be there regardless of whether something comes out or not. That's a big difference. For me, I want to go to Japan because it was one of my dreams. It was one of my dream goals, is to imagine going to Japan in your creative capacity, people respect you for what you create, and you're going there to engage with people. How cool is that? Like, I never forget that. Sometimes I take it for granted, and that's a bit dangerous. But I cannot forget that moment where I was like, oh, how do these people do it? I want to do it too. Sometimes a project happens, which has happened to me, which I'm very thankful. And like, that was earlier this year in February. I was invited to go to the Yokohama YOXO Festival to give a digital art workshop, which is sponsored by Wacom, sponsored by Toa Engineering, and of course Global DX being the host. Like, already there, like, that was my dream. That was my dream fulfilled. I could have just stopped from then. But then, no, I go back, build a relationship. That being said, as to whether any project has been confirmed during this trip, the answer is no. Nothing. But what has been confirmed is the continuation of fostering relationships and network. And just the fact that I'm here because of my creative capacity is already an amazing accomplishment, right? Building rapport with the embassy, cultural diplomacy, folks. These things are for me in my mind, far more important than financial gain. 100%. Now, number 4. I participated in a half marathon that was over in am I saying right? Ichikawa in Chiba Prefecture. Is that right? Ichikawa. Let me one second. Let me just check. Yep, Ichikawa. And my friend, who's also a runner and he does a lot of biking, convinced me to do a half marathon with him, and I did, and I thought it was great. But folks, I was literally wanted to give up, like, almost halfway through, because the weather was unusually hot during that time, even in Japan. And we started at 9:30, and I was like, usually half marathons should start earlier, a bit more cooler, but it was a hot day. Sun was beating down like crazy. It was really, really hot. I'm not used to it at all. That I was really, like, as I mentioned, like, ready to give up. This is crazy. But then I just also realized that I can't disappoint myself. I can't give up. I can't end the race. Right? This is crazy. Like, I mean, I have to keep on going and learn how to pace yourself. So it was a really big mental challenge. It was a discipline. Like, marathon, I respect people who run marathons or these freaking Ironmans, these crazy triathlon stuff, because it's not about, okay, I mean, one thing is to finish it, but in my mind, it's not about getting the best time. No, I think the ultimate thing about these things is really, you're really not going against people, you're going against yourself. You're really challenging and competing against that side of your brain, your mind, who's always spewing negativity, is always saying, you don't need to do this. You can just stop. Just give up. Just, it's so hot. Why are you doing this? People are passing by you. You're losing rank. Like, just give up. You relax. You'll be fine. Like, this is the type of voice in my mind that I'm going against when I'm running. And I'm running, and I'm like, and on my other side, I'm like, I know it's hard, it's tough, but F you, because I'm going to get over this. And it was a mental challenge. Every time I do these crazy runs, and half marathon is by far not a crazy, like this, like, as I mentioned, full marathons, Ironman events, it's crazy. It humbles you. It just humbles you entirely. And when I finished it, I ranked 22 out of 80 runners, or 85 runners. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was like, wow, I'm 22nd out of 80 something. That's amazing. I'm really happy about that. I'm not in single digits, but I'll take that number. But it's because I kept going and I kept my resolve, kept on going. And that is what essentially what life is, right? Like you're going to encounter obstacles, you're going to be encountering challenges, you're going to encounter people that might have some ill what's the word? Ill expectations. They don't want you to succeed. Everyone wants you to. They all laugh at you. They don't think that you're good enough. You got to go against these scenarios. So like running is almost like that, but condensed within running, because you're really going against yourself. You're going against that part of your ego. So that was really an amazing experience. And will I do a full marathon? I do feel that I need to train myself more. Like I know I have the I got the fit. I know I have the ability to do this. But again, my mission or my mandate about running is really not about I'm gonna go all in and go on every freaking like marathon event around the world. Like I'm not like that. My mission behind running or biking now, because I'm starting to bike now, is health. 100%. It's all about finding balance, healthy mind, healthy body. They must be aligned. But yeah, a mental discipline. It was incredible. Now, the final one I want to talk about is the artisanal influence and solo show proposal. Now, of course, Japan is known for their craftsmanship, artisanal craft and design. And I think that I'm just thinking I'm not thinking right now, I'm thinking earlier that there is certainly something there for me where digital arts and traditional craft can come together for something incredible. As to what that is, I'm still thinking about it, but I've been planning the right seeds in making that happen. Meeting the right people, having the right conversations for a great collaboration. And I'll leave it at that, because the people who I'm engaged with are just as ecstatic, but it takes time to really manifest these ideas in order to be a great exhibition, solo show, group show, what have you. But I'll tell you this, though. Of course, in order for me to do these sort of things, one cannot do this alone, right? That's why building relationships, the power of networking, is building new friendships is very important, because one can't do this alone. You need to partner up, team up with like-minded individuals, like-minded corporations, like-minded institutions in order to fulfill and accelerate your own goals, your own shared goals with them, because it's all about win-win, right? Win together. By winning together, you will not only accelerate achieving your goals, but through winning together, you will discover new, profound, innovative future engagements that was perhaps unforeseeable, but now becomes a possibility. That's why networking is so incredibly important. That's why I continue to go back. I probably will be back next year, 2025. For now, I'm going to stay here because I am so tired. I'm so jet lagged. Anywho, We're almost at 30 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe, and please share it to your contacts for those who are also looking to be a creative entrepreneur and those wanting to know more behind the scenes of a digital artist. Or you could call myself a digital content creator, whatever you like. This is the channel Eps, episode 141. Thank you for listening. And until then, I'll talk to you all soon. Probably tomorrow. Bye-bye.